energy field that is getting investors' attention, with Discover magazine calling vanadium the element that could change the world.
The drive for renewable energy has created a rush for development of efficient energy storage devices, a new generation of batteries, essentially. My next guest company produces a key element for one type of battery, the metal vanadium.
And what's very enticing is also the possibility that we'll see vanadium used in green technologies for the storage of solar power and wind power.
As a company that provides multi-megawatt energy storage solutions using, and I have no idea what this is, vanadium redox fuel cells. That's one of the coolest things I've ever said out loud.
My husband's Simon B.S. Boy Madly. I started alwala.
Start to get sick.
Nala ka mafatla le maoto le mala. Then ka babolela ka baraka la itse ke letsatsi la mmala ke ya le tla fitla.
I told them that one day that will be.
So 35 sa December mna mola a roba.
December.
The end ya monaka.
That was end of my husband.
The problem with me at Vametco was that they used to burn the vanadium to fuse it. So when working there, you could see suspended vanadium particles in the air, which we used to inhale. There's a certain chemical, they call it MVO. The MVO can penetrate the skin, like the old man said. After washing, when you wear your clothes and you start sweating, the sweat would come out with the black powder. And when you come at home, you look at your clothes, you could see the blackness of that powder.
Did you have any bleeding?
Yes, sometimes when I went to the toilet to urinate, sometimes the urine would come, it is red.
I was a machine operator. There was a machine there they called crawling machine, taking samples down there at the mine. Yeah, and I started realizing that my tongue used to change during the night.
Like green?
Yeah, my tongue used to change. I couldn't breathe during the night. My feet used to burn like fire. And I started complaining when times goes by that I'm not well, so I'd start giving sick notes and so on.
Right.
They called me to the meeting. They said, look, the company couldn't afford you because you can't do the job properly. And they dismissed me in 1990. I didn't know, because when I get to Vametco, I was just healthy. I was just fine. Took me to X-ray, everything, I was healthy.
So you saw your friends and neighbors dying. Did you believe that they were dying because they worked at Vametco?
Yeah, when I think about it,
The job I cannot job anymore now because I've got no power, I've got no strength, and all what I'm waiting is death.
I was an EPA employee that discovered that a community in South Africa had been poisoned by a U.S. multinational corporation. And when I reported it, literally the ceiling fell down on my head. My supervisors told me to shut up and not to talk about it. I know that it takes a lot of courage to come out and to talk about your experiences. We also have a lot of repression in the United States, and when you speak out, the state also oftentimes will punish you for speaking out.
Marsha Coleman Adebayo has been a senior analyst at the EPA for 10 years, and she claims it has been a decade of discrimination.
I was an intruder in their world. I could participate in high-level staff meetings, I was told, only because my colleagues regarded me as an honorary white man. And I must admit, I was so stunned. I remember hearing the laughter from around the table.
She and other employees took their case to Congress and took on EPA Chief Carol Browner.
Perhaps people behaved poorly, perhaps they had ulterior motives. It's the political season.
Browner told us she was unaware of any complaints.
We've more than doubled the number of minorities in our top ranks.
What difference does it make if you bring 2 million of us to this agency and we're all living in hell?
Today I join with the city of Gaithersburg in honoring one person, Dr. Marsha Coleman Adebayo, a leader in the struggle for civil rights and worker protection.
While these attacks were meant to break my spirit, I decided instead to wage a struggle for human dignity and integrity.
Dr. Coleman Adebayo won a historic lawsuit in the year 2000 against a federal agency based on racial, sexual discrimination, and a hostile work environment.
My name is Marsha Coleman Adebayo, and I thank God for this day.
As a result of this victory and her subsequent testimony before the United States Congress, the Notification of Federal Employees Anti-Discrimination and Retaliation Act, also known as the No Fear Act, was passed by Congress and signed into law. After passage of this important legislation, Dr. Coleman Adebayo formed the No Fear Coalition, a group of civil rights and whistleblower organizations dedicated to working for increased legislative protections for those federal employees who speak out to protect the public good.
Marsha eventually won her court case. It sounds a lot like the Aaron Brockovich movie, and actually, Marsha's story could also make it to the big screen. Actor Danny Glover is reportedly preparing a movie based on her story.
I've got to know Marsha because we're working on a film on her courageous fight for justice. It was a victory for not only Marsha, but it was a victory for women, all human beings who stand up for justice, who stand up and say no, who stand up and be counted.
Waves crashing all around me, stormy waters trying to drown me. Take me under, far away from my home. No refuge as far as I can see. Can't swim to safety. I'm afloat on the unknown, and I'm no longer blind. I can see just fine. I know where I'm going and what I have to do. Even though it's like poison, they will never silence me, 'cause I have no fear as long as the truth is here. Even though it's like poison, they will never silence me, 'cause I have no fear as long as the truth is here. When dreams crumble into dust and nameless ones do what they must, even if it means dying to live, yeah. One voice raised in protest, ooh, can only lay to rest greed and lies and deception. Find your strength within. Fight on and don't give in. Long as God is with you.